Hello world, this is Gracie, the author of the In Carnation series, Etched in Stone and Moors Deep. If you haven't read them, I would highly encourage you to go out on Amazon, pick it up. You might enjoy the adventure. It's a twin flame romance, and they get separated by choice, and they have to. Worm is spending his entire life searching for Honora before her tyrannical creator can find her first. Today we are going to talk about the second one in the series, Moors Deep. I think before I get into this one, I had a question as to why I keep going with this same thought and the same characters. And quite honestly, I think for me, it's a bigger story than 90,000 words. So for me, I just kept it going. I broke it up into 3, maybe 4, we'll see, different novels, and I think it works better because some of the bigger books, being an ADHD person, like I get really anxious with books. So if they don't end within a time period, or if they have so much action within it, like I get anxious and I can't finish the book, or I have to put it down a lot because it just inspires too much emotion inside me. So with these, I decided to break them up just because that's a personal choice. That's how I do it. That's how I feel about reading, and I take it in chunks. I don't know. But anyway, so back to Moors Deep. This one is when Honora's soul is already on Earth, and she has reincarnated into a Scottish lady, and she has to figure out how to use her powers. And she's not going to do it alone. She actually winds up finding Revenant and Rune, which is another dynamic duo from her home dimension, and creations of Cephas before he was evil or angry. Both. So Cephas, you'll find out in the story, his wife and daughter were murdered, and it was blamed on him. And they exiled him, stripped him of his power, and kept him away from his son. And his son became Vapor, which eventually becomes his partner in crime, the evil dynamic duo, in order to try and take over the universe and essentially make them pay for the murder of his wife and daughter, and the misdeeds, and the blaming. I had another word, but I forgot it. So the blaming, he got blamed for their murder. So back to the story. Honora is in Scotland at an early time period. With these, they are based within history, but I don't, with this story, well, with the first story, I learned that it's probably better not to name names necessarily, or to name specific places, unless it's a true historical fiction. I take elements of history, and I implement visuals to help you allude to an answer of whom it might be, where they might be, what they're seeing. And to me, I think it's better because you can create it yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be fictional or historical. It can be fictional, and you can create the story better without having to know the history. So anyways, again, you'll learn with me. I'm one of those storytellers that go all over the place before I get to the ending. So if that's something you don't like, I'm very sorry. It's just who I am. I can't get away from it after, I won't tell you my age, but after a long time, decades, it's just me, who I am. Back to the story. Honora's on Earth. She is in hiding from Cephas, and of course, Warham. And Warham is in his own dimension, their own dimension, and he's having a very, very hard time with this, not understanding why she purposefully left him to save him when he's the big, strong protector, and having a hard time understanding why or how he is supposed to protect her if she's not with him. So, he runs into or is graced with the presence of Bulvi, which is a southern weaver. And for the weavers are the people who weave energy to create souls or size. And so he's the southern weaver. They are different regions. So we can go into that in another story. I'll try and stay on task. Do it. Okay. So he runs into Bulvi, and then he also meets another character, Doc. And Doc is a scientist who analyzes energy signatures on Earth and anomalies on Earth. And this becomes a godsend to him in order to try and find out or track in some way where and when Anora might be, her soul is. Because you got to remember, they don't know when she is, they don't know where she is, and they don't know who she is. They know her psi, or her soul, is incarnated into a body, a vessel, somewhere in time, on history, or on Earth history, but they don't know where. So, in the process of him trying to find Anora, the turmoil on the ship winds up kind of crippling their entire crew. So everybody in the Corps has been touched by Cephas and his devastation at some point in time. And they all have a heart-wrenching story. Some of them you get to hear within the novel, but I'm trying not to give too much away. Okay, so they go in and they have to investigate certain incidents that draw out these very heart-wrenching experiences from some of the crew, and it kind of starts tearing apart the Corps, or Warham's batch of the Corps, not the Corps themselves. So that's that part. On Earth with Anora, she meets Revna and Rune, who are creations of Cephas, and they teach her how to use her power, how to use her magic, and to be able to wield it and use it for good. So that's this story. At the Pentacle, there is a moment when Doc gets to the point where he might have found Anora. And that's when Warham has to decide, is he going to take care of his people in his dimension and figure out who is terrorizing his crew? Or is he going to take that leap and go and incarnate into a human on Earth to try and find Anora himself? All the things, all the feels. So that is this book. I absolutely loved it. I laughed, I cried. Yes, because I'm the author, it all hits me just like it should theoretically hit you. But we all read differently, so it is what it is. That is More's Deep, and you will get to meet, I think there's, I gotta count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 characters in this book. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you love them just as much as I do. And remember, if you actually buy it off of Amazon, go and leave me a comment, a review, so that it gets seen by more people. My rankings go up, which is cool. And we get this out there. All right. Until next time, keep writing. You have beautiful circles on your eyeballs. I'm learning the halo thing. Anyways. Keep writing, live inspired, and do your thing. See you later.